This is WKYT This Morning.
Good Monday morning, and thank you so much for starting your day the Kentucky way with WKYT. I'm Andrea Walker.
I'm Bill Bryant. We sure hope you had a great weekend and you're ready to go. It's a brand new week, and we are into October 3rd, and we have a lot going on.
Now at 6, just into our newsroom, we've learned the name of a man Lexington police say died in an overnight crash.
We'll have that for you. Also, police are facing several unanswered questions after the body of a missing Danville woman has been found in nearby Lincoln County. The latest on that investigation, what we've turned up just ahead.
And animal lovers gathered in Floyd County over the weekend to raise awareness for animal cruelty. More on the Furry Friends Carnival coming up.
Once in a while, you get an awesome week in Kentucky weather, and it looks like that's what's lined up for us.
Especially the work week. The work week, there's no chance of rain, so things are looking pretty good, and temperatures will slowly but surely rise each and every single day. So we're not going to be dealing with the 60s like we did last week.
Good deal.
Or off toward the weekend. It's going to be there in the 70s, which is average for this time of year. There's your low pressure system that we've been dealing with, for the past 5 days. Now it's finally starting to move off toward the eastern seaboard, not really dealing with us anymore. What we're going to be dealing with, though, some fog. Watch out for that early this morning over toward east and southeastern zones. That's where the most prevalent fog is located. And it's very dense, too, when you run into it. Watch out for that. Frankfort coming in at 54 degrees. Getting in towards your afternoon, 73 degrees. Pretty nice conditions. I mean, that's a nice fall day. That's roughly average. And then we look toward the next few days. That's when temperatures really go up. And also looking for that rain chance possibly for your weekend. That's when a front moves on through. I'm going to talk all about that in your 7-day, just about 8 minutes.
All right, Micah. We'll see you then. Thank you. Now to the news on WKYT this morning. Lexington police are investigating a deadly overnight crash.
It happened at the intersection of Man o' War and Sarin Drive near Tates Creek Road. Police tell us a car was going really fast, crossed the center line, and hit an embankment. The driver, William Edwards of Bowling Green, Indiana, died at UK Hospital shortly after. No one else was injured in the crash. The outer loop of Man o' War was shut down while crews cleared the scene, but all lanes have now reopened. And we are learning more about a Lexington man arrested in connection to a weekend burglary.
Brandon Roberts was arrested after an undercover officer caught him and another man during a burglary. And we've now learned that Roberts has admitted to being involved in a string of burglaries. WKYT's Lauren Miner is live in Lexington with more on this case that is unfolding. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, Bill. Brandon Roberts will be arraigned here at District Court later on today. He is being charged with second-degree burglary, fleeing police, and theft by unlawful taking. Now, in his arrest report, police say Roberts admitted to stealing lawn equipment in a series of burglaries. It goes on to say that a red and black Jeep was also reported at each one of those burglaries. Roberts was arrested Saturday evening after an off-duty officer noticed that a red and black Jeep was backed up into a driveway. Police say Roberts and another man were loading stolen appliances into it. The report goes on to say the men then drove off in the Jeep, leading police on a chase. During that chase, the Jeep they were driving crashed into another vehicle. Officers say it was then Roberts and the other suspect took off on foot. The other suspect managed to get away, but police did catch up with Roberts and arrested him. Now, police are still looking for that other suspect involved, but they have not released a description yet. Reporting live in Lexington, Lauren Miner, WKYT.
Lauren, thank you very much. Well, investigators are facing unanswered questions this morning after the body of a missing Boyle County woman was found one county over.
Desiree Sparks' body was found in Lincoln County, and state police say that people who were riding four-wheelers made the discovery. Sparks' cause of death has not been released to us. Danville police say Sparks was last seen about a week ago with a man in a dark-colored SUV. Her family has made a fundraising page to cover funeral expenses. You can find a link to that right now on WKYT.com.
A Clay County man accused of killing his parents will appear in court today. Police say Gregory Jackson shot his father and stepmother at the couple's Clay County home last December. Investigators say Jackson tried to cover up the crime by making it look like a burglary. Jackson was arrested in September following a 9-month investigation.
State police are investigating a deadly crash in Magoffin County. It happened on Kentucky Route 114 in the Salyersville area. Police say Ellis Roark lost control of his truck and hit an embankment. His passenger, Leah Roark Gross, was killed in the crash. Police do not think alcohol was a factor in the crash. A Lexington family is left with a big mess after a car crashed into their house over the weekend. That happened on Winthrop Drive off Nicholasville Road. Police say the family was not home when the crash happened, and in fact they didn't learn about it until several hours later. Neighbors say 2 teenage boys were in the car that hit the house. Luckily, police say nobody was injured.
Governor Matt Bevin has made a groundbreaking appointment in Kentucky's alcohol industry. Bevin has hired Christy Trout as commissioner of the Kentucky Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control. Trout is now the first woman to become commissioner of the department. She replaces former commissioner Stephen Edwards, who was fired after 5 months. Bevin says he fired Edwards because he lost confidence in his ability to lead the agency.
A state lawmaker has been appointed to a task force of female lawmakers across the country who are focusing on mental health and substance abuse policies. The Kentucky Inquirer reports that Republican Adia Wushner of Florence has been appointed to the Women in Government's National Task Force on Mental Health and Substance Abuse. That task force develops proposals that can be used by legislatures to address mental health and substance abuse. Well, animal lovers gathered in Floyd County this weekend. They hosted a big carnival for local kids.
You have to love this event. It was held at the First Church of God in Prestonsburg. The event featured games and furry friends for kids to play with. Activists brought out rescue pets for the community to interact with as well. Organizers say the event is to raise awareness of animal abuse and local pet adoption.
There are snakes, there are hairless rats, there are all kinds of animals that have already lived a life of cruelty, that have been abused, and it's over with. We need to show a positive image, and that's what this is.
Organizers say they encourage anyone looking for a pet to visit local animal shelters and humane societies. So all of God's creatures were represented at this event.
Yeah, quite a variety there. Maybe they kept the snakes and the hairless rats apart. I don't know.
Hopefully for the rats they did.
Yeah, right. Okay, it is coming up on 6:07 on WKYT this morning, and time to check weather. And it looks really nice as we head into this brand new week. Micah?
Yeah, it looks really nice once we get toward the afternoon because got a little fog issue this morning, and that's going to be the case as we go throughout the next couple of mornings, just due to the fact trying to clear those skies out, and there's still some moisture there on the ground, so that's pretty good ingredients for some fog. 54 degrees right now in Frankfort. Now that's the look at 421 and Main Street. That's the interchange right there. But let me tell you this, out at the airport, you're actually picking up some fog in that area. So just heads up, it's very patchy. You'll move in it and move out of it very quickly, but nonetheless, it's pretty dense. You can't even see the interstate, I-64 there in Moorhead. And that goes for a lot of locations. Coming into London, out at the airport, you're at 0 miles. That goes for Jackson, too. Go down the Mountain Parkway, a pretty quiet and calm area this time of morning, but nonetheless, when you're running into that fog up and down the hills, you're going to be running into some pretty dense fog, that is. 10 miles coming in at Danville, so there's some good news for some of us in Boyle County. 73 degrees by the afternoon. And mixture of sun and clouds, 73. This is a nice fall day. That's right around average, so we'll take that. And what's going to be happening with this weather pattern? We'll actually get the rain on out of here. Cloud cover, it's going to take some time to get on out, but nonetheless, at least it's not dropping some rain on us. And I know a lot of us do want some rain. There's no doubt about that. I'd still take some rain on my yards. But, you know, it just comes at bad timing, it seems like. The weekend, it seems like it's one system after another for weekends. And then you get into the work week, and it dries out, and those temperatures slowly rise. So that's just the way it's going to go this week. Off towards your weekend, I'd say that the start of Keeneland on Friday, I don't see much of a chance of rain. However, towards your Saturday, Sunday, there is a small chance because that's where a front rolls through. We'll have to be watching that very closely. Check this out. How cool a shot is that on my Twitter page, Micah Harris WX. Pick up your phone, follow me, and I'll follow you back at Linda Topin. Really cool shot right there as those leaves are changing. 65 degrees and drizzle. Dirt roads on a rainy day. That's an awesome, awesome shot. We appreciate that very much. Linda, 7-day forecast. We get in the 70s and close to 80 degrees the next few days. Takes you all the way through your Friday into your weekend. That's where that front moves through. There's a main player in the forecast that we don't really touch base on because we live in Kentucky. But that is a hurricane. That's tropical storms and all that. It doesn't really affect us that much. However, the way it's going to affect us this weekend, that's a big storm. And it takes all the moisture along with it. So when fronts move through around us and there's a hurricane off toward the East Coast. Well, guess where that moisture is going?
Yeah.
It's not going over our front. It's going toward the big guy off toward the East Coast.
Well, it looks like it's going to hit the Carolinas pretty hard, and you know, there's some people from this area like to take those late vacations over there.
You got a heads up for that.
Kind of be thinking that through.
That's right.
Thank you, Micah. It is 6:10 on WKYT this morning.
And each morning we bring you weather and traffic together.
Let's go check out Officer Don and see what's happening out there on the roads. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. Of course, that crash at Manowar and Sarin Drive, they're in the process of getting that completely cleared up. Little police presence there, but they should be out of the way. The intersection's back open now at Manowar and Sarin Drive. No wrecks on the circle itself, and we're looking good inbound Nicholasville Road, and also on the north side, North Broadway and the circle should be one cycle of the like. As we get a live look outside, courtesy of the Lexington Fayette Urban County government, no major issues popping up right now through that intersection there at Leestown and Town Center Drive coming in from Masterson Station. Looks great. Now back to you in the studio.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Don. And you can listen in to Officer Don and Deanne. They're on 98.1 The Bull when you get in your car this morning.
And they're always having a good time.
They are. But stay here with us as long as you can, because we have a lot more to tell you about and a lot going on your Monday on WKYT.
Well, Donald Trump and his supporters are trying to move past a bombshell New York Times report regarding his taxes. The latest from the campaign trail when we come back on WKYT this morning. Welcome back into WKYT this morning. The time now is 6:14 on your Monday. Well, this morning, Donald Trump's campaign is trying to move past a New York Times report on his tax returns.
And his rival Hillary Clinton is stopping in the battleground state of Ohio today, where the latest polls have her trailing the Republican nominee. Jamie Yukas has the latest from the campaign trail.
Donald Trump supporters are defending the Republican nominee against a New York Times report that claims the billionaire businessman may have paid no federal income taxes for nearly 2 decades.
Absolute genius. This is a perfectly legal application of the tax code.
There's no one who's shown more genius in their way to maneuver around the tax code and to rightfully use the laws to do that.
The paper cites Trump's tax return from 1995, in which he claimed $916 million in losses after several of his businesses went bankrupt.
This information is extremely relevant and on point to the election that we're in the midst of right now.
Trump is threatening to sue the newspaper for what he insists is illegally obtained material. Over the weekend, he sought to keep the spotlight on rival Hillary Clinton and her alleged criticism of Bernie Sanders supporters at a February fundraiser.
Hillary Clinton thinks Bernie Sanders supporters are hopeless and ignorant basement dwellers.
The Democratic nominee had this veiled jab for Trump while courting black voters in North Carolina yesterday.
There are some out there who see this as a moment to fan the flames of resentment and division.
On Sunday, Clinton picked up an endorsement from Cleveland Cavaliers star LeBron James. Jamie Yukas, CBS News.
Now, in an op-ed published in Business Insider, LeBron called Clinton the clear choice for president. Donald Trump has said he will not release his tax returns because he is undergoing an audit. Today, Trump is campaigning in Colorado.
Federal safety investigators have yet to retrieve the data recorder located in the front car of the New Jersey Transit train that crashed last week. On Sunday, officials revealed another data recorder already recovered from the mangled train was not working when the train crashed. Train engineer Thomas Gallagher was in control of the train before it crashed Thursday, killing 1 person and injuring more than 100 others. He has spoken to investigators. Hurricane Matthew is barreling towards Haiti and Cuba after taking aim at Jamaica. The Category 4 hurricane, packing 145-mile-per-hour winds, hit Jamaica with heavy rain and flooding on Sunday. It is expected to weaken to a Category 2 storm and target the Carolinas later this week.
Our time this morning is 6:17 on WKYT. Tiffany took on Costco for selling rings with its name on them and has won big. A federal jury ruled that Costco should pay $5.5 million for infringing on the jeweler's trademark. Costco argued that it used the word Tiffany as a generic description of a ring setting. The jury didn't buy that. Costco may also have to pay punitive damages. New legislation in California has paved the way to test those self-driving vehicles on some public roads with no driver inside. It's a first for the autonomous car industry. Previous laws only allowed testing when a person is in the driver's seat. Again, that's California. It's not the law in Kentucky yet. Well, Subaru is recalling nearly 600,000 vehicles because their windshield wiper motors can overheat, and that can create a fire risk. The recall affects some legacy and Outback cars from the 2010 to 2014 model years. The company says it's unclear whether the problem has caused any fires or injuries at this point. A popular gluten-free baby food is being recalled over concerns that it may contain a potentially deadly bacteria. This is attention-getting. The FDA says Sammy's milk may contain Chronobacter, which can cause severe and sometimes fatal blood infections or meningitis in infants. The product with expiration dates of November 2016 through 2018 should not be consumed. Now, no illnesses have been reported, but certainly a grave concern here on this that's coming in this morning.
And they're saying if you do return that milk, you will get a full refund. WKYT this morning, we are just getting started. Coming up, a hot air balloon festival turned frightening over the weekend. Multiple balloons crashed shortly after takeoff. The dramatic footage you have to see when we come back.
We're looking dry early this morning. There's really not much going on the next few days. So when do we get the cloud cover on out of here and just bring in some sunshine? I'm going to go over that and also show you these rising temperatures. That's coming up next.
Welcome back into WKYT this morning. The time now is 6:22. The victim of a deadly crash in Lexington has been identified.
We just got that a few minutes ago, and that's what's trending at this hour. Police say William Edwards of Bowling Green, Indiana, died after his car crossed the center line and hit an embankment at Manowar near Sarin Drive. It's still unclear what led up to the crash overnight, but police believe Edwards was driving at a high rate of speed. No one else was injured in the crash. Going to get a quick check on weather this morning. It's your Monday, and it'll make you feel better to know that it's going to be nice.
Yeah, really nice. I mean, we're going to see that not only today, but the next several days. I mean, I really don't see much of a change in the forecast, except for the temperatures. They'll actually start rising here very shortly. The reason being is this dome of higher or lower pressure, upper level low that we have talked about for the past 5 days, it was sitting right over us. What happened was yesterday and also on Saturday, started to move northbound, went off into the Great Lakes, and then it started to shift over toward the northeast. So that's where it's located right now, and it's not really affecting us anymore. However, we're still getting some cloud cover here and there. And watch out for some fog early this morning. Moorhead, check out that shot. That's I-64 and the 801 overpass. Go down toward London at I-75, and it just doesn't look that good. So watch out for some pretty dense fog. It's very patchy across the region. Frankfurt coming in at 55 degrees, and we're traveling toward your afternoon at 73. Heading off toward the afternoon when the kids coming home from school. I don't see any problems. Heading out to the ball fields, no issues either. So all in all, this is a really nice day, guys. We're going to go through your 7-day forecast in further detail in just a few moments. But it looks like, the next few days look pretty good, guys.
Okay, sounds good, and we thank you, and it's 6:24 right now.
Now for a few interesting stories. There were some scary moments during a New Mexico hot air balloon fiesta. Multiple balloons crashed shortly after takeoff.
Big problem, power lines were to blame for two of the crashes. This one caught on tape as it happened, you see there. Local authorities say more than 1,200 people lost power because of the crash. Cameras were also rolling when this balloon quickly lost altitude and got stuck in a fence. Fortunately, nobody injured in either of those crashes, so that's a good
silver lining to that one.
Silver lining, you got it. Right. Looked like a beautiful day. I don't know why they had all those problems.
I know.
Well, a California restaurant is changing up the way pizzas are made.
This is interesting. Take a look at this video. Zoom Pizza is using high-tech computers and advanced robotics to make their pies. The creativity doesn't end there. The restaurant installed ovens in their delivery trucks that bake the pizza while it's being delivered to your house. The founders of the business say it is faster and cheaper. They also say it allows them to use better ingredients. So there you go. As fresh as it can get.
You got it. Pizza on the go. Well, maximum furry cuteness was on display in China as a breeding facility there debuted 23 baby pandas, and it caused a tourism scene that could only be described as a pandemonium.
Of course, of course.
Sure.
Take a look at all this cuteness right here. The pandas aged 1 to 4 months are in the result of a spike of breeding and are almost double the number of newborns produced last year. Experts attribute the bear baby boom to an improvement in breeding technique. Or not technique, but technology. Oh, gosh. Just leave that alone.
Just move on.
I made it too easy there, didn't I?
Well, they sure are cute.
They're very cute.
Leave it at that.
All All right.
Monday morning
Moving
on
on.
WKYT. All right.
When we come back, a massive fire kept fire crews busy in northern Kentucky for hours last night. More on the damage coming up.
A report there from Maysville coming up shortly, and all of our top stories are on the way. And tomorrow night's Mega Millions jackpot is $35 million. And Wednesday night's Powerball jackpot is $80 million. Keep it here on WKYT this morning.